Hello, welcome back to the channel, and this is a channel where we give you reviews, playthroughs, unboxings. We generally like to talk a load of bollocks about tabletop gaming in general, and in this video we're going to be talking about a retro game. We're going to be talking about Thunder Road, and in this game you'll be driving a car along a post-apocalyptic highway trying to destroy your opponents before they destroy you. This game has recently been kickstarted under Rob Davio's Restoration Games, so we thought we would give you the tools that you need to match the new with the old and see whether or not the new version of Thunder Road is anything like the old version of Thunder Road. So in this video we're going to be giving you a very brief overview of the rules because there's practically no rules, so we'll be telling you what we do like, what we don't like, and then we'll come back and we'll tell you whether or not Thunder Road is still worth digging out of your loft today and in the future. So remember, if you're new here, then please consider subscribing to this channel if you ain't already. Hit the like button, leave a comment, all that crap, and we'll see you after this. So, Thunder Road, how'd you play this game? So this is a relatively simple roll and move game. First thing you're going to do is you're going to take the two pieces of road track and you're going to place them one in front of the other one, right? Then you'll take the debris markers and you'll place them on the designated spots on the board. This is a 2 to 4 player game, so each player will take a colour and all the units associated with that colour. You'll place them on the relative spots on the board, bar the helicopter, right, which stays off the board for now. Each one of your units has been designated a rank. You've got the big chunky juggernaut type thing, which is a 6 rank vehicle. You've got the sports car type thing, which is a 5 rank, and then you've got the beach buggy, which is a shitty 4 rank car, right? So the first turn is a little bit different from the latter turns. You're going to throw the 3 yellow dice and you'll assign each die to one of your cars, right? And then you'll move it that many spaces. If you cannot move the full spaces of the die that you allocate to your vehicle, then the car cannot move. It has to stay where it is, right? If any of your cars start their turn on the road spaces, which is the track in the center, like the darker colored track, then you can throw the black road die with your 3 yellow dice, and then you can move those cars that number of spaces, but they have to end their turn on a road space and all, right? You can crash through a piece of debris if you wish. What you got to do, you got to throw the red die. If you throw a 4, 5 or 6, then you can crash through the wreck or stay on the same space. But if you throw a 1, 2 or 3, then your car becomes a wreck. So it's pretty dodgy trying to negotiate debris, right? So on your second and following turns, you'll be able to attack the other players, right? There's a couple of ways you can attack them. If your car lands on exactly the same space as the other car, you can do a ramming attack. You and your opponent will throw the red die and then you'll add the rank of your car to that die, and whoever's got the highest number will win the duel, right? If you win, the opponent's car becomes a wreck, and if they win, nothing happens. So there's also the shooting attack. If your car lands exactly on the space behind a car, then you can shoot them with your gun. You will throw 1 red die, and if the number thrown is equal to or higher than the rank of the car, then they will be destroyed and you'll turn them upside down and they become a wreck. Yeah, there is also the chopper attack. This can attack once per turn. You can either put it on the rear board or the front board, but it can only attack once on each board, right? If you put it on the front board, it cannot go back to the rear board. And what you do, you throw the die, and if it matches or is higher than the rank of the car, then that car will be wrecked, right? So if a car gets to the end of the board and it's not used up all its movement, then you'll take the rear board, you'll sling everything off of that, and any cars that are on that board will be out of the game, and you'll take the board and you'll place it at the front, and then you'll carry on with your movement. So this game will continually go on and on and on and on for as long as you've got patience with it, right? There's also the option to repair some of your cars, right? So if 1, 2 or all of your cars are wrecked, then you'll continue to roll the yellow and black dice, and if you roll a double 6, then you can bring one of your cars back from the dead. So this is a way to prolong the agony of playing this game, yeah. So as soon as your last car is dumped, you are out of the game, and if you are the last person standing, then you will be the winner of Thunder Road. So what do we like about Thunder Road? Well, not much really, but we do like the theme. This game was published in 1987 by MB Games, right? This was about the time when Mad Max was in full flow. There was still that lingering fear of a nuclear apocalypse, and in a kid's head, I suppose they did imagine themselves to be this sort of freeway highway warrior going through the apocalyptic wilderness. And this game latched onto that. There was loads of stuff out at this time. You had the Fighting Fantasy book, Freeway Fighter, you had Car Wars, Battle Cars, all that sort of thing. So the 80s was a prime era for this type of game, and Thunder Road had a pretty decent theme and it looked pretty nice, didn't it? So the second thing that we like about Thunder Road is the novel idea of the never-ending track. The fact you could pick the board up and move it to the front, and it meant that you didn't have to play on a circuit. It just kept on going and going and going. There's always that fear that somebody's going to roll the black die, get a 6, maybe move 10 spaces, and then you are going to be dumped out of the game, which more often than not happens with us. So yeah, the never-ending perpetual board is fantastic. So the final thing that we like about Thunder Road is the fact that these cars have got a point-based status system, right? You've got the 4, 5 and 6 base cards. So it's not just a case of rolling a die and getting a high number, right? The Juggernaut is going to be harder to hit than the Dune Buggy. And also you've got the helicopter that can come in and cause a bit of mayhem. So it's like a bit of an unknown quantity that it can move wherever it wants, and it doesn't actually block spaces. So even when you feel like you're completely down that, you've still got the helicopter to rely on. So the fact that the cars are a little bit different, a little bit harder to hit, sort of saves this game from being just a complete and utter disaster, which it almost is. So what don't we like about Thunder Road? So the first thing, and the bloody obvious thing about this, is it's a roll and move game, and it's a roll and move game without any sort of mitigation of the luck value, right? So all you're going to be doing is rolling those 3 or 4 dice if you're on the road, and you'll just be moving your car forward, and it's a load of dog shit, right? At the end of the day, you think of other roll and move games like Formula D, there's an added thing of stopping on the corners, right? And you think of games like Unrife and Bright, where there is a tactic to move in your riders so you could draft behind some of your opponents, right? But in this, it's just a case of roll and move, and you're just trying to get as far ahead as possible, and there's nothing that you can do to mitigate that luck. So if you get a couple of bad rolls, then that's it, you are stuffed. So the second thing that we don't like about Thunder Road is that the combat system is more or less completely luck based, right? The only thing that you've got, like we said before, is the fact that each car has a rank. But at the end of the day, if you're going to be rolling a die, and if you roll a 6, then your Juggernaut is going to be toast, right? It would have made more sense, wouldn't it, that if each car would have had a speed die, so the Juggernaut moves slower than a Dune Buggy or the sports car or whatever. It's a mind-numbing mess of a combat system, right? I played this with my kids a while ago, and even they got frustrated when their Juggernaut was blown away by the machine gun of a tiny little Dune Buggy, right? So combat system's basically non-existent in this game, and it's just a frustrating luck fest. So the final thing that we don't like about Thunder Road is the fact that you could go out on your second turn. I've seen it done loads and loads of times, right? If you're going first, you are at a distinct advantage, and if you get lucky on your first roll, and then on the second turn you roll all 6s, and the second player gets maybe 3 1s, and they're not on the road because of debris or other cars blocking them, then they can get dumped out on the second turn, right? And that is complete crap. I've seen this game played where my son got all of his cars dumped out because he rolled crap. And okay, this is a kid's game, yeah, but it's no good for kids if that sort of thing happens, because it just upsets them, you know what I mean? So yeah, the fact that you can get dumped out on your second turn is unforgivable. So to summarise, is Thunder Road still worth bothering with today and in the future? So we're going to say absolutely not. This is a crap game with a decent looking theme, right? I've just been thinking about some of the excuses that I've heard over the years for people who admire and enjoy this game, yeah? They say to me, like, Matt, it's a kid's game. This game has been designed for kids. It's not going to be complex, yeah? Well, lucky for you, I got a mental age of 12 and I still bloody hate it. People say to me, look, it's 1987, you know what I mean? Like, this is an old game. Roll and move was acceptable back then, so just accept it for a retro relic that it is. And I say to you, that's a load of old bollocks, right? Because if you look back at 1987, you had Avalon Hill Games Workshop making all of these Ameritrash type games that are in a similar vein as this. So don't you tell me that because it was designed in 1987, it had to be a load of shit like this, right? That does not wash. People have also said to me, look, it's MB games. You look at the other types of MB games that were around in the 80s, and it's just a generic MB games luck fest, right? So don't get upset about it. And I say to them, like, Hero Quest, probably one of your favourite games of all time, made by MB Games, right? So don't sit there and tell me just because it's MB Games, it has to be a complete load of dog crap. So at the end of the day, this is just basically a turd in a box, right? If you're thinking about backing Rob Davio's latest endeavour, then I would urge you to go back and have a look at Seafall. see how shit that is, and have a look and see whether or not they have managed to unrandomize the roll and move aspects of this game. See what they've added rather than what they've taken away from the original, yeah? Because this is a complete pile of crap. So there you go, that's Thunder Road. Remember, if you're new here, then please consider subscribing to this channel. Leave a comment in that section down below. Hit the like button or crap. See you next time.